What's up, Internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. It is Tuesday, August 20th, day number 36 inside the Big Brother house. Tucker continues to bring the chaos with a wild power of veto ceremony yesterday. Let's talk about all the intel, drama, and more from yesterday's live feeds. But first, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Gonna be honest with you guys, I'm struggling today. I've tried to record this a couple of times without coughing. Let's just try and get through it and do our best. Give you a little recap if you haven't been keeping up with what's happening on the feeds. Tucker, 1 HOH, Quinn, Brooklyn, and Cam were his initial nominees. Brooklyn was his target, even though there is a rivalry going on with Tucker and Quinn. Tucker won the power of veto and planned to take down Quinn and put Chelsea up as the replacement nominee, with both Brooklyn and Chelsea being the targets over Cam, depending who won AI Arena. Let's jump into everything that happened yesterday, though, because we had the veto meeting. Tucker did what he said he was going to do. He took down Quinn. Chelsea goes up. He called out the collective. He called out Penta. There was lots of fighting that we didn't get to see. I'm really looking forward to seeing this meeting on Wednesday's episode. Joseph took some heat. TK and Chemo took some heat as well, but they stayed quiet, as they do. When the feeds actually came back, Tucker and MJ were up in the HOH going over everything that went down. He was venting hard to her. She seemed shocked by all of the news as well. But I don't think she fully understood what's happening and what the dynamics are now. Later, she had a conversation with Rubina, talking about how, you know, even after this week, the collective is still going to have 6 members. She's like 3 weeks behind everybody else in the house at this point. It's also interesting that Chelsea and Brooklyn keep trying to push MJ away from Leah and saying that you shouldn't trust her. She doesn't want to work with you. But it doesn't seem like MJ even is fully listening to that anymore. Speaking of Leah, though, while this was all happening, she was out back with a bunch of others saying how she knew what was going on. She knew about all the big alliances, but she didn't care enough and was just kind of laying low. He also ended up having a conversation with Quinn later where he told her how people were saying that she didn't even actually like him and didn't want to be around him. She got very emotional about this, saying it wasn't true. Kind of was. She was kind of saying some of this stuff. And she also brought up, like, why wasn't I brought into the collective? Like, that's kind of a thing. But they were kind of clearing the air and doing their chats. Meanwhile, Chelsea, she went right into work mode. She met with lots of different people, different one-on-ones, including Quinn and TK, who she ate up her lies. T-Core, I got it that time, I think. She just ate up all of her lies. She still has this weird idea that somehow maybe Cam can be the one to go and Brooklyn and Chelsea will come over to her and Chemo to do it a little of alliance. But overall, I think this was really good for Chelsea. If Chelsea ends up staying this week, this nomination is exactly what she needed. She needed a fire just lit under her butt to get her moving. She's been letting things kind of happen. And honestly, she's getting just as much intel as TK and Chemo were. But she was doing even less with it, sitting in that back room. She was kind of playing like Suri did last season, where Suri would just stay back there. But the thing that was different is people would come to Suri. People came to her to find out what should be done. You don't do that with Chelsea. Chelsea needed to get out of the house more, go talking with people, trying to, you know, put out fires, you know, before they became big fires. And she wasn't really doing that. And I know she has the skills to do it. We saw her do it earlier in the game, but with Collective and Pentagon, she got way too comfy. And I think this actually could bring out the player that Chelsea actually is. Brooklyn, on the other hand, she went into depressed mode. She was sulking away from the others up by the fishes. She's very upset about how all this went down. She didn't like that, you know, she's being called out as kind of the leader to this when she didn't even start it and was kind of blaming Joseph for being the one to start all this. She said Quinn must have spilled all the info. It's not fair that someone gets to stand up and talk in front of the whole house and say whatever they want like Tucker did. Mind you, she was actually prepping a speech for this very veto meeting where she was going to be calling others spineless, but nonetheless, she eventually had some meetings of her own. She met with Quinn, and that one didn't go very well either, as they were both kind of just denying that either one was telling any info. And eventually, though, she met with Tucker. And this one was really interesting because, you know, she was doing her same old thing where she was denying that, you know, she was really into the Pentagon. She was saying how, you know, this was all just stuff that she was brought into. She didn't even really want to do it. Eventually, like, it started getting a little heated. Brooklyn kept raising her voice, only for Tucker to tell her, like, oh, you don't need to yell, which is exactly what you tell a person when you don't want them to yell. They were just really going in circles. She mentioned, she's like, does anybody even know about 5 points? And Tucker's like, everybody knows about 5 points, which is also funny because she's the one who told Chelsea about it. Also, during the meeting, I don't know if you guys were aware, she brought up the fact that she's a married mother. New information to me. I had no clue. But yeah, that was a huge part of her argument. Tucker, you know, went and told everybody else what was going on with all this, and his retells were probably just as fun as the conversation itself. He also met up with Joseph. Like I said, Joseph was taking lots of heat for being the one to start the collective and all this kind of stuff. But Joseph actually got really emotional with Tucker. It was like, listen, I hope you know, like, I've been telling you the truth. And Tucker's like, you're good. And Joseph's like, you're my number one. So that's kind of a funny little pairing. Rubina, Takur, and Chemo. I think I got it right, that one. You guys probably are going to say I said it wrong again. They're worried about Leah and MJ getting too close to Tucker. And I think this is really coming more from like Chemo and Takur than anything else. And they're worried that, you know, there's a little secret alliance with Leah and MJ. They're trying to, you know, drive a wedge between Rubina and Tucker. I just don't think it's going to work out the way they're hoping. And like I said, they still have this weird idea that they can get Brooklyn and Chelsea to come on back over to their side and like do like a Final Four thing. They don't even trust you. Like, Rubina is the one who trusts you in the house. I don't think there's anyone in the house that actually trusts Chemo and Takur like at all, other than Rubina. I don't even think Tucker trusts them that much. So it's really kind of interesting that like this is the way they're going about it. If we pull up our allegiance map for the day, not too much has changed. I actually still have Joseph towards the top because despite all the heat that he got, I really feel like the only ones who are like pointing at him and being like, oh yeah, we don't trust Joseph, are Chelsea and Brooklyn. MJ and Leah like a little bit, but for the most part, you know, Tucker's kind of got Joseph's back in that. And it seems like he's good. Tucker also, I think, listens to Joseph, which is also really important right now. Chemo and Takur have dropped all the way down to the bottom. At this point, I don't think anyone other than Rubina listens to anything they have to say. And not only that, they don't really say anything to anybody else. And it kind of drives me crazy when they say like, oh, Tucker just wants to do things that are good for him. But you literally don't say anything to change his mind. If you're just mad that he's making moves, you need to go out there and make moves yourself. She wants to go and take a shot at him. Guess what? You're going to have to win HOH. You're going to have to convince one of the HOHs to do it. And I don't believe they have that in them. Who's going to win and put up Tucker just because Chemo and Takur said? They're only going to do it because they want to put up Tucker. It's not going to be anything that they said or did, but I bet you they'll take credit for it. I bet you they'll try, even though they probably never even had a conversation about it. Quinn, I've moved more towards the middle. I think Brooklyn and Chelsea are kind of done with Quinn. I don't think he really is interested in working with them either. Quinn's kind of alone. He's kind of a loner in the house. Like, he's got little connections here or there, but he's on his own. Cam all the way down at the bottom as well. Leah and MJ, I've moved all the way over to the Tucker side now at this point because I think they're really done with Chelsea and Brooklyn as well now that all this stuff has kind of come out. MJ, I think, has really kind of realized, like, oh, yeah, they were trying to pull her in rooms now, and they needed her as a number now that Cedric left. And, you know, the week prior, they were all trying to get her not to use her power and to stay up on the block. And a lot of that all kind of makes sense to her. Angela's vibing. Angela's living her best life in there, having a good old time. Tucker and Rubina still close, though I think we got to keep an eye on how things go with Rubina, T-Core, and Chemo and that kind of relationship, because they're trying to pull her away from Tucker. I just don't see it happening. And maybe they're able to drive that wedge in there. Maybe Rubina will start thinking game over relationships. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll have to see how that all plays out. I know you guys probably wanted a much more in-depth look into everything that happened, and I wish I could give it to you, but I'm barely hanging on there today. Thank you guys all so much for joining me each and every morning here on these live feed updates. It is a little bit of a struggle today. I've got this cold coming on, and I can barely breathe. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you are new here, though, hit that subscribe button. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, smash that like button. Check out all the links to my socials in the pinned comment description down below. Things like my Twitch, Twitter, Discord, all the good stuff. Check it all out. I don't know anymore, guys. I'm struggling hard. Thank you guys all again so much for watching, and I will see you next time.
You're being a passive.